Hi YouTube, this is Diane. Today is August 9th, 2021. Thought I would show what I'm using to organize for my homeschool this year with regard to planner and otherwise. This is the planner I chose to use this year. I have used a whole variety of things through the years, and so I saw several videos on this planner. I ordered it through Amazon. Here's the ISBN. What I liked about it is a lot of planners have stuff I just don't use in my homeschool. I'm not part of a co-op, and so those pages don't benefit me. I do not feel the need, nor does our state law require to write every single thing down. There are aspects that I do have to send in an annual report type of thing, but in Minnesota, the law is pretty clear on what is required and what is not. And showing a planner is not required in the state of Minnesota. But this is the one I chose to use this year. What I liked about it is it's very simple, straightforward. If I made my own planner, which I've tried to do different years, and I just added too much stuff and it became too bulky. This is what I would design. That's just simple, straightforward. It is paperback. I would prefer a spiral, but I think that they call this the perfect binding. But it is what it is. And if it really bugs me, I will have this cut off and have it spiral bound at the printers for a nominal fee if I need to. Office Max, Office Depot, some smaller print shops do that for a nominal fee. They'll charge one fee to cut off the binding, another fee to put on to hole punch and coil bind it. I've done that with other books in the past. I put these tabs in as different sections of the binder, or the essentials. Here I have gone through for math. This is what we're using: science, language arts, etc. Accounts, passwords, which I don't think I'm going to have many. There's like 4 pages of passwords, and I don't think I need that many. Event tracker. I don't think I'll use this. I'm going to try and find a new use for this in my homeschool. But it'd be very easy to adapt this to whatever you need in your own homeschool. Homeschool connections, reading list. I'm not doing a reading list here, although I could, because I'm still working through the Percy Jackson series. I could put that on here as an allowed for the whole family. But then you have the plan. Here I haven't gone. Sorry for the interruptions. My kids keep coming in and out. I haven't filled this all out. The idea is you'd put January, and there's 31 days, and mark any significant events. I have not done that yet. Term goals and the schedule. This is the section I use the most. We started at the end of July. My goals, it was planning, cleaning, organizing, and starting. What I found for our school works best is if we just kind of start 1 or 2 subjects, and then the next week add a couple more, and next week add a couple more, rather than start with everything at one point in time. That gets too overwhelming. Especially I have 7 students this year at all levels, from pre-K to high school. That would just be too overwhelming. Now this is all blank, so I've added my own numbers. So I started in July, but if you started in August, you started in February, you can easily change this, make it whatever you need it to be. So I wrote in, we have some birthdays, we had a grad party this last weekend. These are the main pages, this main chunk of this book, and then that's the lessons. So I put the date, so this would be 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, so next week is where I put. I have 7 students. So instead of going subject or day of the week, I am doing, these are the days of the week as I'm using them, Monday through Friday when we do our homeschool, and then I'm putting my students' names across here. And then what I do, I have my students' names written on the previous page. I would say, okay, so this is Monday, the 16th. This student did this lesson in math, this lesson in science, this lesson in Tapestry of Grace, which is our main history program. I write what they have done. that works so well for my family rather than planning out the entire year, because inevitably something will happen, and that just doesn't work for our family. If that works for your family, do what works. Tracking. We are not required in the state of Minnesota to keep attendance. It'd be easy to go back and, okay, what days do we do school, and figure out attendance, but it's not required. But if you need attendance, this could be used for that, possibly, or maybe grades or something along that line. So I haven't figured out what I'm going to use for these, and student checklist and another student checklist. Yeah, there's a number of these. So this could be where you put grades or quizzes or tests or projects, or review and reflect. This will be used at the end of the year, kind of what worked, what didn't. She has a page for a photo collage. And then notes. This is where I will probably make notes periodically through the year. I don't do a huge amount of journaling, but I'll write a few things down. If I hear about a new curriculum or a new product maybe I want to try next year, that's where I'll put it. So that's what I'm using. But I'm also doing this. I have a 5-subject notebook and a 5-subject notebook. I have 7 students this year. So what I decided to do is, in this first section of this notebook, I wrote standardized tests, when we have the school district form required, graduation information, and then for my first student, this is my senior this year, and this is what we're using for him for this year's. That'll be very handy when I make his transcript. I have made a couple changes, like I've changed art and PE, but this is what I'm looking at ordering. I have a couple more things to order, like typing instructor, the CPR first aid. There's an online CPR first aid course that I'm looking into for my senior and my sophomore, because I think that's a valuable skill. It's one of those skills, if you never need it, great. But if you do need it, you have that training, and that training kicks in. And then computer science, which I haven't ordered yet. And his driver's ed, which I haven't ordered yet. If you need some student with driver's ed, can I suggest this website, Drive Safe, Ride Safe? Mike is the owner, and it's an all-online course for the state of Minnesota where they can get the 30-hour classroom time. My oldest 7 children actually were in his physical classroom, which he no longer does, at least not near me. And he is an excellent, excellent teacher. He's very blunt. He doesn't gross students out, but he's very blunt about driving is a privilege. This may be available for other states, I don't know, but I know for sure it's available for Minnesota. It fulfills essentially the written portion of the driver's ed as required by state law. It does not cover the behind the wheel. That would be separate, but we'll worry about that when we get there. So I highly, highly, highly recommend that program. But this gives us an idea of our Bible, what we're going to be doing, and teaching textbooks. I put my pen. He actually started his first lesson today in Algebra 2. And I'll just check off. He did that lesson. It's easy enough for me to check. Teaching textbooks is the main math program. I don't think I've talked about this in a video yet. But then as he does his tests, and then I'll write the grades for his tests down here. And I can easily access that. It's all online, and I can easily access it. Chemistry, chemexplain.com, I've talked about. Tapestry of Grace is our main history program. I've talked about that. This is reading list. This is literature. So what I will do is I'll go through my teacher's book, and the literature that he reads, I'll just write this down. And because with my transcripts, I'd like to have a reading list available in case somebody should ask for it. Because to be honest, Tapestry of Grace High School puts a lot of colleges to shame with regard to what they ask the students to read. Not just history-wise, but also literature-wise. 1 year of English, this is through 7 Sisters. I have not talked about this in a separate video yet. I'm going to do this. This is new for us. Essentially, he and his brother, they're both high schoolers. They are analyzing To Kill a Mockingbird and learning different types of writing. So there are questions, and it's a very interesting, it's based on the idea of no twaddle, wasted time. Let's not give them 15,000 worksheets when they can condense it. And so they'll be reading, or they are reading, they're on week 2 at this point, To Kill a Mockingbird. And then doing the writing assignment of short story 2. Then they will be watching the movie Guess Who's Coming to Dinner with Cindy Poitier, and analyzing that, because analyzing media is an important tool in today's world. Antigone, I think it's Antigone, another book. God's Smuggler, another book. So that's what we're going to do, but I'll talk more about that as we get into it a little bit this year. Writing, the writing aspect of English tends to be a little weaker subject of mine, but sometimes there's movies for them to watch and additional reading list. In a traditional school setting, encouraging students to read above and beyond what's assigned. This is what I'll have him do. He's been doing a lot of research for Johnny Appleseed shooting events with his father. And so I will put a number of those books here, both nonfiction and fiction, it doesn't matter, but 25 books minimum over the entire school year. Health for the Whole Person, this is also through Seven Sisters. He hasn't started this yet, as I haven't printed out the entire book. It's like 260 some pages. So I'll print it out and give it to him a chapter at a time. Physical Education, this is also through Seven Sisters. We have not begun this course yet, so I want to play with that a little bit. But then you go to the next student, and these are their first initials. He's a 10th grader, and again, what he's been doing, he's really been liking biology through Science Shepherd. I know I did a video about that. We haven't started our Bible study program. I know what we're doing, but I haven't started it yet. He started his teaching textbook, so just mark that off. He did another lesson in biology, although I think he's actually did lesson 7. And he did one of the labs. I'll have to see which one he did. And again, his reading list. And his English and his additional reading. And each child I'm color coding. So the eldest this year is black. This particular child is green. And this is my youngest daughter. She's pink. She's 8th grade. So again, listing now. Fundamentals of Chemistry is not available yet. Their video program aspect, and I'm waiting on that. So she'll start that at the end of the month. And she's starting at the dialectic level in year 3. So it's a little heavier reading-wise intensity, but I think she's ready. And she began her pre-algebra. And she hasn't started chemistry yet. And then my 6th grader, he started his math today, and he, again, I just did this for each student because I have 7 students. Lesson 1. This worked really well. Did it through science. I just mark off when they do a lesson. And he hasn't done any literature in his tapestry. And then I took the second notebook. Again, the front is for me to make any notes. Any issues we have, anything like that, this is for me. And then this section here is for my 3rd grader. Excuse me, 4th grader. He's right in the 3rd, 4th level. He's on the 3rd, 4th level. His reading is a little weaker but his math skills are right up there. I mean, he's in math 6 very comfortably. And where your kids can be stronger in one subject than another, just like we are as adults. And yep, I did that. I marked that off for him. And we did science today. B is the level that he's doing. There's a level A and a level B for that particular science. And then tapestry. We read Rapunzel today. So literature books is what's going here. This is lit reading, not history reading. So I'm keeping track of. And then my 1st, 2nd grader, this is what he's doing today in our school. And he, especially with history and literature, he's just listening. That's his main main job at this point. He's using Horizons Math, not teaching textbooks. He's not ready for teaching textbooks yet. But soon enough he will be. Oops, yep, I gotta mark that off. And then my youngest, who's pre-K, he doesn't have a huge amount, but that's okay. At this level, it's more, is he in the mood to do school or not? And he's going to be doing some copy work. And then I left the last section, 2022. So as I look forward to purchasing curriculum next year, or anything that worked or didn't work, that's where I'll change it. So just a simple 5-subject notebook. And it'll be kind of my teacher's journal when it's all said and done. So I hope that this gives you some valuable information. But this planner, in my opinion, is well worth it. And it's not that expensive. Definitely less than $20. I'm going to say it was even less than that, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But I will talk to you all later. Bye.